I saved for months to buy Dad a custom watch, but my brother smashed it and Mom begged me not to tell. My dad and I always had this unspoken bond. My brother Daniel, though, everything was a competition I never signed up for. When Dad's 60th birthday approached, I wanted to do something meaningful. Dad had this thing for watches. He'd pause at displays whenever we were out. I started working overtime, skipping nights out, cutting back on everything. 4 months of saving for this custom piece from a local craftsman. Simple but elegant, with Dad's initials engraved on the back and the year he married Mom tucked into the dial. The night before the party, I was in the hallway checking the box one last time when Daniel appeared. His eyes locked onto it. Before I could react, he snatched it from my hands. "So this is your big surprise?" he said, holding it up like a trophy. Then he dropped it on the hardwood floor and stomped on it. The sound of glass shattering felt like something breaking inside my chest. "You should thank me," he whispered, leaning close. "Now Dad won't think you're trying too hard." He walked away, smiling. I stood there trembling, staring at the crushed box. Months of work destroyed in seconds. The next morning, Mom called. Her voice was panicked. "Daniel told me what happened. Please don't tell your father. It'll only cause a fight. Just let it go, okay? It's just a gift. Don't ruin his birthday over this." So I stayed silent. At the party, Daniel strutted in with his expensive scotch, making sure everyone heard the price tag. Dad thanked him, beaming with pride. Everyone clapped. I sat in the corner, my appetite gone, the ruined watch hidden in my car. Dad turned to me later and asked, "Did you bring something?" "I can't remember." Before I could answer, Mom jumped in. "Oh, Eric's been saving up for his own things. You know how careful he is with money." I saw the faint disappointment in Dad's eyes, like I'd let him down. The weeks that followed were brutal. Every family dinner, Daniel held court. Mom fawned over his latest purchases. Dad would joke, "You need to take a page from your brother's book, Eric. Live a little." Then Daniel started spreading lies. I ran into a family friend who said, "I heard you went halves with Daniel on that scotch. So nice of you to contribute." Except I hadn't contributed a dime. Daniel was making himself look generous while painting me as the broke little brother just tagging along. But here's what they didn't know. While they were busy praising Daniel's flashy lifestyle, my life was quietly changing. That week before Dad's party, I'd been promoted to senior manager, triple my old salary. I just hadn't told anyone yet. Daniel's new restaurant venture? When Dad asked how much he was investing, Daniel said, "They mostly want my vision." Translation, he was broke. So I started gathering proof. I contacted his suppliers, his so-called investors, even his landlord. The picture was clear. Daniel was drowning in debt, stringing people along with empty promises. 2 months later at Sunday dinner, Daniel was in rare form, pacing the living room, talking about how investors were lining up, how his restaurant was weeks from opening. Mom beamed. Dad nodded along. Then I stood up. "Actually, I'd like to make a toast too," I said, pulling a folder from my jacket, "to Daniel for teaching me how important it is to tell the truth, because the truth, unlike stories, doesn't crack under pressure." Daniel's smile faded. I opened the folder slowly. "While Daniel's been telling everyone about his big venture, I've been doing homework. This supplier says he hasn't paid in months. This investor says Daniel promised returns that don't exist. And this," I held up another paper, "is a notice from his landlord about overdue rent." Gasps rippled through the room. Daniel shot up, face red. "This is garbage! Lies!" I stayed calm. "Funny. That's exactly what you said when you smashed the gift I bought for Dad. The difference is, this time I have proof." The silence was deafening. Dad looked from me to Daniel. "The watch I spent 4 months saving for," I continued. "The one with your initials engraved. Dad, Daniel destroyed it the night before your party. And Mom asked me to stay quiet so we wouldn't ruin your birthday." Dad's jaw tightened. "Daniel?" Dad's voice was low, rough. "Is this true?" For the first time in his life, my brother had no answer. Dad stood slowly. "I've given you the benefit of the doubt for too long. I believed you when I shouldn't have, and I doubted the son who has never lied to me once." His voice cracked slightly. "That changes now." Daniel stormed out, slamming the door. The illusion was finally broken. Within 3 months, his restaurant collapsed. The debts caught up.